friends, welcome back to Food Prep Guide. I thought it would be fun to do a complete start to finish tutorial on growing sweet potatoes. So I am prepping raw land right here. It's just grass, it's just weeds. And I am doing a back to Eden approach for sweet potatoes. I've done a lot of research and I think that sweet potatoes are one of the few crops that will grow in fresh wood chips. Normally you don't want to plant in fresh wood chips because it'll rob nitrogen from the soil. But I think sweet potatoes are the exception to this rule. It is a little bit of an experiment. We'll learn together if it turns out good or not. But all I'm doing for this first step is I'm getting wheelbarrows of wood chips from these piles over here, and I'm just going to cover as much of this green grass as I can possibly do. I have 30, I think, 30 or 35 sweet potato plants to get into the ground. So I don't know how much of this green space I'm gonna cover, but we'll see. Let's get to work. I think that's gonna be enough to get me 30 to 35 sweet potato slips. I've got the mulch about 6 inches deep, and I think that's gonna be good enough for sweet potatoes. Gonna take a break, eat me some supper, and come back and do the rest. Okay, now that we have all these wood chips laid out, the next step is I'm going to create like a hole in the wood chips that I'm going to fill with soil. So I'm just going to kind of dig out the wood chips in a circular shape and kind of create like a pot to put some soil in and then put the sweet potato slip in. And that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to put each row about maybe 2 feet apart and each hole about 1 to 18 inches, 1 to 1.5 feet apart. That's what I'm going to go for. And we'll see how many that gets us. See how many holes that gets us. I think it'll be easier to do this with my hands instead of a shovel. And I'm not going very deep because the sweet potatoes will grow down beneath those wood chips. At least I hope. Research tells me that's what they should do. And the research tells me they don't need to be that deep. But like I said, this is an experiment, so we will figure it out and see if this works. Sweet potatoes is a staple crop for our family. I don't usually like to experiment with our staple crops because we really need those to build frugal meals throughout the year. But it is 1st of June, and I still have about 40 pounds of sweet potatoes left from last year. Not only that, I recently discovered that there is a sweet potato farm not far from our house, and during peak harvest season, they sell 40-pound boxes for like $20. It's really cheap. So if this doesn't work out, I will just have to purchase my sweet potatoes this year, but I'm really hopeful that this is going to work out great. I just came across a really big piece of bark. I'm going to go ahead and toss that out. I don't want anything really big right where the sweet potatoes are going to grow. Don't want to hinder their growth in any way. At least minimize obstacles as much as possible. I want to give you an up-close look at what I'm doing. So this is what I mean by little soil pockets. Just pulling away the wood chips to kind of create a little round pocket and then putting some soil in it. So I'm going to go and do that all along here. And hopefully I'll end up with 30 to 35 holes. We'll see. did that one a little too close. I think it'll be fine. Okay, how many did I end up with? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So I only got half my goal, 16 out of 30. That's okay, I got plenty of more grass to cover. So let's go ahead and get at least some of the sweet potato transplants transplanted. Here are the sweet potato slips. Just received them in the mail today. I tried sprouting my own this year and I only got 5 to sprout to maturity. So I had to order some. I'm going to try to do it at a larger scale next year so I can hopefully not have to buy these next time. But they come in just a bundle. I'll drop the link to where I purchased my sweet potato slips in the description box below. Here's what they look like. There is one. See the roots? So I'm just going to plant it right up to where those roots start forming. So I'm going to put the soil about right there. That's going to be sticking out of the ground. So I'm going to get going planting these. Here's an up-close look at what I did. Like I said, I just tried to form a little hole, put the dirt in the hole, and put my sweet potato slip in. Got some more work to do. I'm going to fill up this whole area here. All this is going to become more wood chips, more sweet potatoes, Lord willing, because I really want 30. My goal is to get you a picture or a short clip every 2 weeks until harvest, and then harvest the sweet potatoes together. I think that'll be really fun to see it all start to finish in one video. So we'll see you in about 2 weeks when we do a progress update. Okay, y'all, it is time to harvest. It is September 14th, I believe, and that is more than 3, almost 4 months since we planted. Here is what it looks like. I haven't done the best job of documenting the process, but I haven't done anything to it. No fertilizing, I haven't even been pulling weeds. Nothing has been done to this sweet potato bed. When I was trying to decide, are we going to go ahead and harvest, I went ahead and pulled one plant, and here's what I found. I pulled one plant, and this came up, this whopper, these two little ones, and then this long skinny one. So I'm going to go ahead and call it yes, time to harvest, and we will see what we get. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do is if two of y'all want to start at that end, and then somebody come over here and start with me on this end, we need to start at one of the ends and work our way forwards. So the vines are going to be, you're going to have to pick up a vine and follow it to the point where it's rooted in the soil. They're going to be all up in here. And then we've got this bucket right here and that box over there to put the sweet potatoes in. Okay? Okay, go ahead. Have fun.
So we don't have to be careful with the plants.
No, you don't have to be careful with the plants. You can just pull them up, but you do need to pay attention to where they're rooted in the ground, or we'll lose where the sweet potatoes are.
It's so put them in the boxes?
Yeah.
Did you feed the goats?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Oh!
Wow!
Wow, y'all.
There's a box right there.
Okay. Hey, when you separate the potatoes from the vines, you can throw the vines off to the side so that we know we've harvested that area. But be careful because, no, hold on. Look, see how there's holes right here? We need to be able to identify where it's rooted in the ground. So.
Are you videoing?
Yes.
Okay.
Get out of camera, Dad. You used to be a YouTuber.
Trying to dig up the whole potato.
Look, there's very one act out.
Yep.
Put you in that boogie.
Wow.
Oh.
Like a club.
Yeah.
Mom, it's huge.
That is huge.
Wow. This is so huge.
Oh, there's some. So look, Rami, look. So we ripped off this vine and look what was underneath there. So we gotta go back through and really look over where we pulled all those vines, because here's a whole cluster of sweet potatoes that we didn't even see.
Oh my goodness.
Hey y'all, some of these sweet potatoes are really buried down deep, so dig through those wood chips when you're done pulling the vines. Y'all can go show the camera if you want to.
Wow, Forrest, that's a big one.
What's that thing right there?
You know, he's in the car.
See, somewhere in here it's getting connected. I can feel. Oh, look, look, look. Here's one connected to the ground. So watch. It's going to be something under here. There they are.
Oh, baby.
Little ones. But we want to dig around and make sure there isn't anyone hiding in there. Look at this one hiding. So see, we got to dig down deep sometimes.
Yeah.
Careful, honey. Watch your foot. Whoop.
Oh, here's one. Come on. Oh, yeah. Where are they? I can't say the waffles, but that's something at least.
I think there's one right here. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Wow, good job. Oh, there's a root. Oops.
Mom,
Uh-huh.
where are these plants?
I don't know. We're gonna have to go through and just dig through with our hands and.
Dad, can you help? Like, I'm stuck with this.
Domino's here to help.
Hello, Domino.
All I got.
Nice.
Looks like a big pile of organs. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to just clear out the vines and then y'all can go through all the wood chips and.
Let's just pull all these.
There's gonna be sweet potatoes attached, honey. Look.
Wait, I see.
Yeah, there's gonna be some attached. Here's some.
Looks like a big pile of hunts. Not that I've seen big. Not before. Wait, a big pile of hunts. Camera. I showed the camera our kitty. Like you, Edie. No. I found something. Got some loose. This is the skinniest one I found. See?
Yep.
That one right here. Yes, Mom. I was just digging, and then I found this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this one had a lot of them. They're small, but
Most of them.
6 or 7 of them. Oh, careful. Wow, that's an awesome one too.
Domino's not gonna help you. You just gotta dig a hole too.
Domino, can you please not do that right there? Cool.
Wow.
Okay, now we need to go digging through all these wood chips right here.
Go away from me! Oh, gravy! Mom! Hey! This keeps going! This one too!
Oh, careful, honey.
Huh. Oh. There was nothing. Ooh. No, boy, that one came to this one.
Here's a root. Forrest, you can want to try right here. Here's one. See if there's something underneath there. Okay, y'all, let's chat about this harvest, and I have conflicting thoughts and emotions and opinions about how this wood chip sweet potato garden experiment worked out. So let's chat about it. This is our entire harvest, and it's smaller than I thought it was. When we were in the process, and you saw, all of my children were out there helping me, and the way that we were pulling them out left and right and just being so large, I thought we had more than this, but when I gathered everything all together in one pile, this is what we ended up with. So one thing that I am extremely impressed about is just the fact that they grew in wood chips. No tilling. Remember, we didn't dig into the ground. Remember, we just placed wood chips straight on the grass. And so I am, all in all, really impressed that these sweet potatoes grew. I mean, there are some massive sweet potatoes here. Look at the size comparison with this. I mean, the size of my head. Look at it. I'm trying to find, look at this one. My son said this was a vegetarian's weapon. But there are just some really, really large sweet potatoes here. The average size sweet potato at the grocery store, I want to get a good comparison. This is probably a good average size sweet potato at the grocery store. And then, here. So we got some average ones and we got some gargantuan ones. And I think what led to the really large size of the sweet potato is the loose medium of the wood chip. So it wasn't fighting compaction. We live here in the South, and it is heavy clay soil. So compaction is a very real thing that we have to deal with here. And it can cause potatoes and sweet potatoes to stay small because the soil is just not loose enough for them to expand. But these had no problem getting absolutely massive because of those wood chips, I think. So that's another pro to the wood chips. I mean, the lower maintenance is enough for me to say I'm going to grow them like this again. But here's the caveat. Pound-wise, weight-wise, this is double the harvest that we got last year because of the size of the sweet potato. But number-wise, quantity-wise, we got slightly less than we harvested last year. So what that tells me is that, yes, the wood chip bed is worth it because of the low maintenance, because of the no digging, the no tilling. I'm only adding to my soil. I'm not taking away and stripping it. So that alone is enough for me to want to grow again, and just the simple fact that they did grow. But I'm going to need to plant more than I think I need to make the wood chip garden bed work, because what I noticed is that not every sweet potato slip not every sweet potato slip produced sweet potatoes. Now when I planted in ground last year, I didn't have that problem. We had a 100% success rate with the sweet potato slips producing 3 to 4 good sized sweet potatoes. Now there is one issue that messed up my experiment to where this may not be like the perfect experiment, and that is Mr. Armadillo. He has been visiting our garden and ripping things out and rooting around for grubs, and he visited the garden almost every night right after I planted the sweet potatoes. I think those wood chips was like a beacon to him, calling him in to say, hey, I've got some grubs underneath me, come get me. And he came almost every night. And in the process of rooting around for grubs, he would fling the sweet potato slips out. So I don't necessarily think that was a wood chip issue. I think that was an armadillo issue. And if that sweet potato bed hadn't have been disturbed almost nightly with some sweet potato slips literally being flung out of their place, and I would come through and I would replant them and try to get them to reroot. But as I saw in harvest, they just didn't reroot and didn't take. So I can't mark that as a con for the wood chips because I really think that was an armadillo issue. So I'm not super convinced that I have to plant more than I need to, but just based on the quantity of sweet potatoes being a good bit less despite planting more slips, next year I think I'm definitely going to go with the wood chip bed, but I'm going to probably plant more. We planted, I think, 25 slips this year, so I will probably go into the 35 to 40 slip range next year, and we should be good to go. So overall, very happy with this wood chip experiment. I think the results speak for themselves of just the sheer size of these sweet potatoes. So even though I'm dealing with a lower quantity, I mean, this one sweet potato, we're a family of 5, so we will typically serve 5 sweet potatoes per meal whenever we're doing this as a side dish. Well, I could take one of these gargantuan ones and probably get 2 or 3 sides for my children, and then me and my husband will take 2 regular side ones. So I think it's all going to work out fine. And overall, I am very pleased with the experiment. If you decide to experiment yourself, maybe just plant a little bit more than you think you're going to need to get the results you're looking for. Okay, y'all, I hope that was fun and helpful to y'all. That was super. It was really fun for me to be able to see how this all worked out. I love experimenting in the garden, and I really love when an experiment works out. It's a little disheartening when an experiment doesn't work out, but when it works out good like this, it's exciting. Another little notch in the tool belt that we can use and pull out whenever we need to grow more food in less space. This is one way that I know now will work for sweet potatoes. Okay, y'all, see y'all next time. Bye.